In The Witcher 3, your sword can make all the difference. I'm Vadd, and here are some Witcher weapons you can get early on you don't want to miss. Just know, the game has a lot of stronger weapons later on. Here in the early game, these swords are personal favorites that represent very strong options for the beginning levels. They are not necessarily the absolute best or the most overpowered. Sometimes metas shift and new builds emerge over time. It's important to know that these weapons really can get the job done. These are ones that are both fun to use and genuinely useful here in the early game. In the opening section of White Orchard, here at the ransacked village, we can pick up the blueprint, the diagram, the crafting document for two different Serpentine swords, one steel and one silver. This is where we pick up the diagram so that we can craft the Serpentine steel sword. We're going to make our way down the road here, and when we get to this bridge, we're going to turn right. There's going to be some bandits up here we need to fight. Nothing too complicated with that. Once you've taken out the bandits that are hanging out up here, you're going to have access to a treasure chest. This chest is going to have the diagram for the first half of the swords. This is the steel sword diagram for the Serpentine steel sword. The second diagram, we're going to start at the mill. Still in White Orchard, we're here at the mill. We're going to make our way down the path. All of the ingredients needed to craft these swords can be found and picked up in White Orchard. This diagram is also guarded by something. I recommend having a torch in your offhand or practicing some of your Witcher spells. Don't forget to read your bestiary book if you're struggling with how to fight this monster. Once we've defeated the monster, we will make our way inside, turn to the right. We're very carefully going to look here on the ground. There's actually a skeleton hanging out that we can loot, and this skeleton has the Serpentine silver sword diagram. To craft these, we're going to come up to the Niflgaardian garrison here in White Orchard, because we need a swordsmith. Armor smiths make armor, and these swordsmiths make swords. Again, all the crafting materials can be found in White Orchard, no problem. They can also all be purchased from the shops. There's plenty of gold in White Orchard if you clear it all the way out to get all of these things bought if you so desire. I had the hardest time finding the silver bars. I don't know why, but I somehow passed all of them up. This is where we can craft both the Serpentine and the steel and silver variant. Okay, you can see here that we will need 2 silver bars for the silver sword. I'm going to show you where they are. I think they are tricky for me. They might be for you too. Here at the abandoned village in White Orchard, there's a quest that'll take us here, but if you're not careful, you're going to miss this. Over here in this little cart, there are 2 little sacks. One of these sacks has a silver ingot in it. Very nice. Back in the ransacked village where we started, again, still in White Orchard here, okay? There's a house at the crossroads here. There's this little lady crying outside, and if you make your way inside, you might have to bust down the door. I think you can just knock it in with your magics. In the corner here, there is a chest, and in this chest is the second silver ingot. As you move through the main story, it's going to take you to the Royal Palace in Vizima. When you're here in the Royal Palace, in case you missed this, I'm going to show you how to go back and get it. You'll just fast travel here. This is the fast travel point. And we're actually going to make our way back to the room that the main story quest took us to. I'm not going to spoil anything about the quest. I'm just going to show you where in that room the loot is that you may have missed. This armor is going to be a little trickier because you'll need to be level 7 and I think level 11 to pick it up, but that's okay. These are beginning early game levels. They're fun weapons. I know there's some shenanigans you can do if you like grind to a certain level and then go into New Game Plus. There's some way to like get them to be a higher level in New Game Plus. We're not here to talk about that. This is the early game, a beginner adventure. Here is the chest that has these items inside. There's an armor set as well as swords. You can see here is the 1,000 Flowers as well as the 9-tailed variants. These are swords, silver, and steel, as well as armor. Again, you'll need to be level 7 and 11 currently for that. Once we get further into the main story, we will get the Headhunter Steel Sword next. We're going to have a fast travel point here from the Hanged Man's Tree. It's a distinctive fast travel point. It's the first one you're going to get. We're just going to make our way up north into these little kind of swamplands here. We'll put a pin down about here, and we'll make our way there. You know you're getting close because you're going to see a bunch of drowners hanging out, and this kind of demolished, abandoned, sunken, broken down campsite. There's two things of note here in the campsite. Specifically, number one, there is this guy hanging out over here. He's seen better days. He's had better days. We're going to make sure we loot him. On him is a key. Lovely. We love a good key. Why? Because a key opens a treasure chest, and we are in big favor of that. So make your way over here to this treasure chest. Ta-da! You might have to break like some barrels or something if they're in the way, but there's a treasure chest right here. It glows red, and the key will open it. And now you have the Headhunter Relic Sword, another great early game weapon. The Headhunter Sword is a steel sword, so we need to pick up a silver sword. Again, we're going to use the Hanged Man's Tree and come down towards this bridge and then turn to the right. One more time. From the Hanged Man's Tree, we're going to come all the way down here. Okay, that's our very first fast travel point we get as we progress through the main story, just to this bridge, and then turn to the right, and then we'll be looking back at the bridge. Okay, here we are looking back at the bridge. See the bridge there on our right? There's a little boat here. There's a little dock. Those are good landmarks to find. We're going to need to swim into this water to find the treasure chest. There are some drowners in here. Remember, you can use your crossbow underwater, so just use your target lock onto the drowners, take your time, and pop them before they pop you. They like to jump out, they're kind of scary, and you don't see them coming until it's too late. Just take your time, lock onto them, pop them with your crossbow, okay? So, from here, from the bridge, we just turned off the bridge. We just ran south, came across the bridge, turned right. We're right here at the dock, by the boat. We're going to jump into the water. Here in the water, now that we've cleared out the drowners, it's very peaceful. It's very calm. There's a busted, broken boat. On this busted, broken, sunken boat, we're going to find a corpse. On the corpse, we're going to loot for a key. We're going to take this key as we need it to open up the chest directly next to it and get the silver Moonblade relic sword. Very nice. All 6 of the swords I have just gone over are great early game options. This next sword is going to scale with you as you progress. Do me a favor. If you like this video, click like. YouTube channel members and the Patreon to support what I do. Please understand, this next sword is a quest reward. If you keep the sword in your inventory, its damage will scale with your character as you level up. As you level up, this sword needs to be in your inventory so its damage scales with you. You don't have to spend any upgrade materials. You just need to keep the sword in your inventory. We're going to get this sword at level 4, so it has the most possible amount of time to scale with us. Starting from the Hanged Man fast travel point, the Hanged Man tree, the very first one, we're going to make our way up and just kind of keep following the road north. We'll end up at another fast travel point here, the Glory Gate. And from the Glory Gate, we'll then go across this little bridge. We'll come into the city proper, and we're looking for the blacksmith just inside. One more time, from the Hanged Man tree, the very first fast travel point we're going to get here as you progress the main story. We just make our way up along the road, across the water, and it's a pretty straight shot from there to the Glory Gate. And from the Glory Gate, we just make our way into the city. This is where I'm going to put my marker down, and then get to the blacksmith. Now, you'll know you're on the right path because you're going to get to this little camp. It's going to be just before the water. There's going to be this bridge with all these people. They're going to be totally in your way. It's right here along the path, okay? The big hunk of water, big chunk, big river, okay? I'm not going to deal with these guys at all. I'm just going to jump the fence and run around. They're super vigilant here. They're very vocal, like, hey, stop, we're going to shoot you. I just keep running. They never shoot. I don't know what their problem is, but they're kind of lazy. That being said, once we get on around the side, swim your way across, jump your way up the banks, and move on with your life. Like I said before, it is a straight shot from across the water to the Glory Gate, where I dropped that fast point, that little travel marker, my little personal marker. Okay, just drop yours there, make your way along the path. It's a pretty straight shot. Here at the Glory Gate, we've made it. Okay, we're across the water, we're at the Glory Gate. We need to go into the city and find the blacksmith. This is not a long quest, but there's a good bit of kind of running back and forth and doing some small errands and some very light combat. It is a very high level quest. However, we're not too concerned about that, as the Witcher combat is mostly a game of patience. This is the Swords and Dumpling quest here in Novigrad. We're going to talk to the gentleman here. Make sure to select the yellow dialogue so that we move the quest forward. There's going to be a couple of things he's going to ask of us, and ultimately we need to make a meeting. This will have us following the quest markers to the dock and meditating until it is dusk. That's somewhere between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. Then our friend will arrive here. We'll follow him into some light combat. After a cutscene, some discussion, some haggling, you know, the usual stuff. Okay? Again, I'm going to leave in quite a bit of combat here. We're just using the delusion spell. Again, Witcher combat is very slow. It's very clunky. There's just no rush. Take your time. Okay? Delusion somebody and hit him if you want. The other character in here is immortal. He will eventually kill all of them if you just stay alive, but it's kind of like an impossible thing to wait for. It'll just take forever. Just delusion one of them, hit them, walk away. They're very, very just slow. So I'm going to leave this combat in so you can see that, you know, you can get it done. You really can. If you're really struggling, just lower the difficulty and, you know, get rid of that ego, okay? It's not that hard. After the fight, we'll follow him back to a shop where the blacksmith will tell us, hey, I'm afraid I need a bodyguard. Go ahead and push your way through the yellow dialogue to get on board with that. We now are going to follow the quest marker. Notice on the minimap, it leaves these little breadcrumb trails to where you need to go, and the giant glowing compass, as long as you have the quest selected, okay, of Swords and Dumplings. We'll make our way there and have a little discussion, have a, you know, some of that action, and then we will follow the yellow dialogue through. And he wants us to solve a problem for him. Again, we'll just follow the quest markers here and then handle the problem and make our way back. There's more than one way to do it. I'm not going to spoil it. He'll agree to help. And then we'll go back to the blacksmith. And then he'll tell you, I have a new problem. Can you help me out? Say no problem. We'll follow the yellow dialogue through. At which point we'll talk to this little boy who says I can help. Let's go do the thing. Which is more running back places we've already been. Not a complaint, just pointing out to you that this is not a super long quest. And then we have some options here because we need to loot a warehouse, blah, 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 do what you want to do. In the warehouse, use your Witcher senses. It'll be the red glowing crates, which you'll interact with to solve this new problem. Quest update, make your way out. Potentially some light combat on the other side. We'll be doing the same thing. This time we have even more help. We'll be using that little Witcher sign to just befuddle and confuse people and then kind of back away like the coward we are, as we're level 4 and they're in the 20s. No problem. Next up, we make our way back to our new blacksmith friend, who's going to say, hey, I'm totally going to make a sword for you. Come back in a couple days. We're going to meditate for a day or two. We're going to come back and we're going to have this sword. Remember to keep it in your inventory as you level up so it levels with you. The earlier you do this, the better.